How to set up in-app purchases and in-app subscriptions for your Flutter app on Android and iOS. I will show you exactly how you can monetize your Flutter app by displaying some packages to the users that they can buy as a one-time payment or on a subscription basis, which is then automatically renewed on a monthly or yearly basis. And we will also use RevenueCat for managing these subscriptions. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel and make sure to watch this video till the end. In this video, we will not use the official Flutter package in-app purchase, and this has one main reason. For the validation of purchases, you need to write a complete backend that communicates with the Apple Store server and the Google Play server. Instead, we will use RevenueCat, a beta variant if you want to save time, because their server will handle this purchase validation for you, so you can focus on building your Flutter app instead of taking days and weeks to implement also the backend server. All in all, we will follow the official documentations of Flutter and RevenueCat for integrating in-app purchases and subscriptions by going through 3 simple steps. Firstly, we will set up in-app purchases and subscriptions for Android and iOS. On top of it, we will configure then RevenueCat. Secondly, we will integrate in-app purchases and subscriptions into the Flutter app. And lastly, we will give the user access to special features in your Flutter app in case they have the right subscription status. Before we get started with these 3 steps, we will quickly implement the fundamentals of this purchases Flutter package into our Flutter app. Therefore, I have created here a simple UI with a button, and if we click on this button, then we want to show all the products that we later configure and which the user can then buy inside of our Flutter application. Let's simply get started with this elevated button that I have created, and if we press on it, then we go inside of this fetch offers method. And here inside we want to fetch then all the offers, all the products that we want to sell to our user and that we want to display here in our app. And therefore I create here a new file purchase API. And here inside we create then this method to fetch our offers, our products, and therefore we simply call this Flutter purchases package, and here you have this get offerings method, and with this we get then all the offerings that we want to show then in our UI. And finally, we want to get the current offer that we have defined later within our dashboard, and this offer we want to simply return then here inside of a list. And in case our offer is not existing, then we want to return here an empty list. So all in all, with this simple code, we fetch then all the products that we later want to show here in our app and which the user then can later purchase. And lastly, we want to check if here are any errors occurring while we are fetching our products. And secondly, we also want to create then here an init method, which we later want to call. And here we get then later an API key, which we need to configure. And with this, we can then set up our purchases API so that we later can call this method here to get our products. Alright, and finally we want to go here back to this page, so we have fetched now all of our offers and we also want to display them, and therefore you can first of all print it simply to the console. In case we later face any issues in getting here our offerings, I also want to add here another case. So in case our offerings are empty, then we want to simply show here an error message so that you later get noticed about that we have no plans found yet. And in my case, I want to display then the offer inside of a more complex UI. So here I also create then a bottom sheet, and inside of it I create then here this paywall widget. And this is basically this paywall widget that you see here. So we basically display then here all of our products. And later I will anyway show you how this paywall widget is working in more detail. And also lastly, what you need to do to make use of this, make sure that you go to your pub/spec YAML file, and here under your dependencies you need to include then this purchases Flutter package. Next, we want to follow here this official guide step by step to create then our in-app purchases and in-app subscriptions inside of our Flutter application. And we want to start here directly with the 3rd step to set up our store. So in this video, I will show you how you can configure the Google Play Store, and here we will then configure the products that the user can later buy on your Android platform. And you can do this also later for the App Store Connect, which we will then look at in the next video, so that you can also sell your products on iOS. Next, as a prerequisite for this video, you need to have your Flutter app already released on the Google Play console. If you don't have a release inside of this testing track or inside of this production track, then simply watch the video that I have linked under this video in the description. And with this, you will learn how you can put your Flutter app inside of the Google Play console. Another prerequisite for continuing with this video is that you need to put here this permission vending billing inside of your Android manifest file. And after this, create then a new release here and also upload your app bundle again to the Google Play console. In case you forgot to upload your app bundle with this permission inside of your Android manifest file to the Google Play console, then you will get here this error and you cannot configure then the in-app products that we want to configure right now. Alright, let's get started by going inside of the All Apps section, and then we go here to the Setup section to the Payments profile. And here inside of this section, you should see a button Create Payments Profile where you need to click on, and there you need to fill then all the information so that you later can get the money from all the payments which you have sold inside of your Flutter app. Alright, after you have then created your payments profile, you can go back to the dashboard of your app that you have released. And then you go here basically down to the product section, and here you see the in-app products and the subscriptions. And we want to get started to configure some subscriptions. Let's get started by creating a subscription. First of all, you need to supply here a product ID, and this product ID cannot be changed or cannot be reused, and it has to be unique between all of your applications. Therefore, it is recommended that you have a specific structure for your product ID. So it consists then of the app name and then the price of the subscription, the duration, and optionally, you can also put here these inside. So in my name here, I want to create it for this app. Then I have here the price. And lastly, it is then the duration of this subscription. All right, back in the subscription page, I put here then my product ID inside, and then you need to scroll down. And here you can then give it a name, and this is then publicly viewable during the subscription. And you also want to give it here some description, which is also publicly viewable. And then you can scroll here down, and here you can then select a billing period. So you can choose here that it should recur monthly or yearly. So first of all, we want to create here a monthly one, and later we will also create a yearly. So I choose here in this billing period monthly. And I also want to set a price, and in my case, I want to set here then exactly this price that I have defined already. And after some seconds, he will also create here for all the other countries the right prices, because each country has other currencies and so on. And then you can simply click here on Apply Prices. And finally, you click then on Save, and after you click on Activate. And now this subscription is active, so we can go here back at the top to our subscriptions, and you see also the status of our subscription is active, and here you see then a quick overview of your subscription. The same way I have also created here this yearly subscriptions. I have simply changed here the billing period to yearly, and with this every year the subscription will be renewed. And I also click on Save. And also make sure to activate this subscription. And now if I go back, we have here two subscriptions. One is for monthly and the other one is yearly subscription. All right, these two subscriptions that we have created will be then later displayed exactly within our application. So we have here the name, and this is basically the name that we have defined, and also the description that is also then here displayed. And of course the price to which the user can buy your subscription package. And as you can see, later we have then the monthly and yearly subscription here inside. So it's basically the two subscriptions that I have here defined. Alright, now we want to go back to the official documentation, and we want to follow right now step 1 and step 2. So step 3 we have already completed by setting up the subscriptions in the Google Play console. For step 1, you need to go to RevenueCat.com, and then you click here on this button Try for free to create your account. And with RevenueCat, you can make your in-app purchases and subscriptions more easy in the implementation. So the main advantages are that the purchases are validated by their backend, and also they normalize the data between the platform's App Store and Play Store for the subscriptions, because they work a bit differently, and they normalize this data so you can use it inside of one API, and you also have one single dashboard instead of two dashboards where you can then analyze the subscriptions and in-app purchases from one single place. Alright, we have already created our RevenueCat account and also have put here the Android package name inside. And next we need to define the service account credentials so that RevenueCat can communicate with the Google Play console. And this is needed so that they can manage all of our in-app purchases and subscription products. Therefore, click here on this I. And here we have to follow some setup steps so that we can connect RevenueCat with the Google Play console. Therefore, go to your Google Play console, and here within the menu, you need to go to the setup section and API access. Next, you have to click then on this choose a project to link button, and after you have to agree to the terms. And I have already done this, so I can show you only step 2 right now. So here you need to click then on this create new service account button. And after this, you need to click on this Google platform link. Next, you need to click then on this button create service account. Give it some name that you like, and also click then on create and continue. Here inside we need to grant then some permissions by defining here 2 different roles. So click here on role, and here inside you type pub sub admin and then you select it. And also click here on this button add another role, and here we want to type then this time monitoring viewer, and scroll here all the way down and then select here this monitoring viewer. And finally, you can scroll here all the way down and click on continue, and you can also click here then on done. And finally, you click then on this newly created service account. And here inside, you need to go to the tab keys, click on add key, and then you create here a new key and make sure that you have selected JSON, and then click here on create. And this will then download our JSON key, and you can also open this then up. Make sure that you copy here then all the content. And lastly, you go then back to RevenueCat, and here you paste then exactly the service account credentials inside. And with this, we have configured the communication between the Play Store and RevenueCat. And finally, you can click then on this button add. And finally, we have to do here one more step. So we also need to grant financial access to RevenueCat. Therefore, go here back to your API and you can click here on done. And here inside, you see then the service account that you have created, and you need to click on grant. Here you need to scroll then a bit down to the account permissions and make sure that you have ticked here the same as in the documentation. So we need to go here to the financial data and tick both of them. And finally, you can then click on this invite user button and click also on send invitation. And now you need to select here your user from your list and then click here on manage. Scroll a bit down and then you come here to the app permissions and you need to click on add app. Choose here your app from the Google Play Store and then click on apply. Click again on apply and make sure that you click here on save changes and also click on yes. Important to notice that it can now take up to 36 hours until you can then make some purchases with RevenueCat. Alright, let's now go back to the page where you have created before your RevenueCat account and also the RevenueCat app. And here on the left side, you can then set the main configurations of App Store and Play Store and the access keys. In the second section, you can then configure the in-app purchases and subscriptions for App Store and Play Store. And lastly, you can also use here something like webhooks. And with the webhook, you can then get some subscription data to your backend. So you have here different kind of events that you can listen to. And then you will be notified about, for example, subscriptions, cancellations, and so on. And the best thing is that it unifies here then the App Store, the Play Store, and even other platforms if you like. Alright, and next we want to fetch then our offers and display them here in our UI so that we can make our purchases. And before you can do this, you also need to configure here this API key. Therefore, let's go back to the RevenueCat website, and here we click then on API keys, and then you can basically copy here this API key, go back to Visual Studio Code and paste then here your API key inside. After this, we can go back to the documentation and we have done all the steps and we are now here at step 4. So we need to copy here then the configuration of our subscriptions and in-app purchases to the RevenueCat. And this is pretty quickly done. Simply go to your Google Play console and go here to your subscriptions. And then you need to copy here the product IDs. And you go then back to your RevenueCat app. And here you go then to the product section. And then you click here on new. And here you put then exactly this identifier inside, then select here your store. In our case, we configure the PlayStore and then click on Add. And the same thing you do then for all of your subscriptions and in-app purchases. So we also take the second one, click here again on New, paste here our identifier inside, select PlayStore and click on Add. Next, you can then link your products with entitlements. So you can click here on this tab Entitlements, and here you can then create a new entitlement. And an entitlement is basically determining the level of access that you want to give the user to a premium feature or some other features inside of your application. Therefore, you can create here an identifier. For example, you want to give your user some access to some courses within your application. Therefore, I name it here all courses. However, you can also, for example, name it beginner courses, and you give him only access to your beginner courses within your application, advanced courses, or any other premium feature that you want to give him access to. And also you can give it then here a description of what it is then unlocking this entitlement within your application. Click also on Add. And now you can link here your entitlement, your premium feature to some products. So if they buy this product, then they get this entitlement. And we have only 2 products here right now. So we have a monthly subscription and a yearly subscription. And in our case, if they buy the monthly or yearly subscription, then they get in both times access to all the courses. Therefore, click here on the 0 products. And here you can then attach some products to your entitlement. So I choose here first of all the monthly subscription and then I add it. And secondly, I click again on attach to also add here the yearly subscription, and I also add it. And with this, we have now added here the monthly and yearly subscription to our entitlement all courses. So if they buy these products, then they get access to all of our courses. Let's go back to our entitlements, and here you could also add other features. For example, you could add here this basic membership, and then you also have another one later for pro membership so that they get access to specific features inside of your application. Alright, next we want to go then to the offering section, which is our last section. And an offering is basically describing what is later displayed on our paywall, so you can package multiple products to one offering. So in this case, we have here the monthly subscription and the yearly subscription, and you put it then to one offering, which is then displayed here at one location in our application. And the cool thing is that you can later change your offerings dynamically inside of RevenueCat, and this changes then also here your paywall inside of your Flutter application. And this can be really helpful so that you can later change here dynamically your products, and you can then dynamically test out which packages and products work the best for the conversion of your users. Alright, let's now create then one offering with the monthly and yearly subscription. Therefore, you click here on New. Give your paywall some identifiers. So in my case, I call it subscriptions because on this paywall, we only display subscriptions. Also give it here some description and then click on Add. And next we want to link to our offering the products that are later displayed on our paywall. However, here you can only add then some packages and not the products directly. And this is because the packages will then combine the products of different platforms. So for example, you create a product on the Apple Store and also on the Play Store, and a package combines then both of them together. So you have then the same product on the Apple Store and the same product on the Google Play Store, and the package simply combines both of the same products. And another purpose of a package is to describe the period of access. So for example, we have a monthly subscription, therefore we put it inside of this monthly package. Then we also have a yearly or annual subscription, and this comes then inside of this annual package. And you could also create a lifetime package. So if they buy the product itself on these different stores, then they have lifetime access to a specific feature in your application. So all in all, the product is something which the user buys then on a specific platform. The package describes then how long the user gets then access to a specific feature in our application, and you can basically link then an entitlement or a feature to a specific product. And lastly, we have then the offering, which combines then multiple packages into one, and this is then later displayed inside of our Flutter application in a paywall. Alright, now we want to create our monthly and annual package. Therefore, we go here back and click on New. And this time the package identifier is predefined because it always describes a period of access. for example, annual, lifetime, monthly, and we want to create a monthly one. Also give it some description and then click on add. Let's also create a second package. This time we choose annual or yearly and give it also some description and click on add. So now we have created the monthly package and the annual package, and the last thing is only to link our product to the packages. Therefore, go here inside and we start with the monthly package, and then you can attach here a product. As you can see, you can combine then here many products from different platforms into one package. However, we only have here right now the PlayStore product, and we want to choose here our monthly product. And then click on attach. And the same thing we also do for our other package. So we go here to the annual package, then we click on attach, and then we choose here under PlayStore the yearly package. Also click on attach. And with this, we have now created here two packages, the monthly and annual, and we have also here our linked products. And finally, we can go back to our Flutter project, and now we are fetching all of these offerings that we have configured within RevenueCat. And with this, you can now click on the See Plans button, which is then calling this method, and then it simply displays here all of your packages and products inside of this paywall widget. And before this can here work, you also need to initialize your purchase API with your API key from RevenueCat. Therefore, you need to go inside of your main file, and here you need to call then this ensure initialized, and after it you call then this init method, which we have also defined here within this file. In case you want to test out the in-app purchases within your emulator, then you need to make sure that your device, that your emulator that you choose has the PlayStore activated. So not all devices support here the PlayStore, however you can simply choose the Nexus 5 and it has then the PlayStore installed. And secondly, to test it out on your emulator, make also sure that you are signed in within the Play Store with your account. So go to the Play Store and sign into your user account. Next, we want to purchase a package that we have now displayed here within our paywall. And this is basically the step 8 of the documentation. And here you also see then the Flutter code, which you need to run for making a purchase. And this is what we want to implement right now. So here we are right now within the paywall widget, which is this widget here on the right side. And if we click then here on one package, then we are going here inside of this callback, and we also get the package on which we have clicked. And now we want to call here our purchase API, and here we want to create a new method purchase package, and we put the package itself inside. And after we have made then the purchase, we also want to hide here then this bottom sheet, so that we show again the normal view. Let me also quickly show you the implementation of the paywall widget. So basically here from our offerings, we determine first of all the packages that we then display here on the right side. So in this case, we have one and a second package. And these packages are then going inside of this paywall widget. And now I will simply show you the implementation. So basically here inside, we have a method build packages, where I have then a list view, and here I basically display then all the packages, and I create then a method to build this individual package, which gets then here also the instance of our package. And from this package you can then access here the product, and here from this product you can then access the title, the price, and you can also access here the description. And this is basically here at the top the title, then we have here below the description, and here on the right side I have displayed the price. And if we click here on this package, then we are going inside of this onTap handler, and we put then the package inside that we have got here within this build method. We put it inside of this callback that we have defined here inside of our constructor. Alright, this was a quick introduction about how the paywall widget works, and now we want to implement here this purchase package method inside of our purchase API class. Therefore, let's create here this purchase package method, and here inside we call then on our purchases package the purchase package method and put our package inside. And with this method purchase package, we open here up then the Google Play at the bottom, and the user can then basically buy here our package, and then he simply needs to accept it, and then he has bought our package. We also want to return if the purchase was successful, so we return here true, and in case we have any errors, then we want to return here false. And that's it, so let's try it out. I click here on this package, and you see then here this dialog, I agree, and then you see that he displays here the information of our product that we can buy, And as you notice, we have here a test card because right now we are here inside of a testing mode. And we are buying here a subscription, which is then charging every 5 minutes this amount because we are here inside of the testing mode, and therefore the times are also more quickly. So instead of a month, we wait only 5 minutes. And finally, you can then click here on one tap buy. And if you have here the test card enabled, then you also wouldn't be charged. So simply click on it. And now it says here at the top, payment successful. And I simply go here further, and now we have subscribed to this product. In RevenueCat, you can also see this purchase. Simply go to your menu and then go to the overview, and also make sure that you have the sandbox data enabled so that it is only the testing data. And then you can scroll here down, and here you see that we have an app user with the ID Anonymous, and he has made a purchase of this monthly subscription. And he has purchased it 4 minutes ago. And I also can click here then inside. And now if I scroll here down, then you see here more details about this purchase. So you can see when he made this purchase, how much he paid. And you also see here some other data. And at the top right corner, you also see then when the subscription gets renewed. And then he will be charged again this price. And by the way, if you want to make here this test purchase with this test card instead of a real purchase, then you also need to do some configuration inside of your Google Play console. Therefore, go here down to the setup section and then to license testing. And here you need to put then the email address inside of the user that is making the test purchase. So in my case, I simply take then the email address that I also have configured here within this PlayStore. Also make sure to click here then enter. And then you can click on Save Changes and click on Save. And secondly, you also need to go to your app itself. So go to All Apps, select your application, and then you need to go here to the testing area and you go to the Close Testing. Create then here at the top right corner a new track, and I call it here, for example, Testers, and click on Create Track. Then scroll here all the way down to the Testers tab. And here you can then create an email list of your testers, give it some name, and also add here your email address and press enter, and then click here on Save Changes. Also click on Create, and here you need to click again on Save Changes. After this, you can scroll here a bit down, and now you need to join here also your test, and I simply copy here the link of the web. And then you can paste this link into your browser and you should see something like this. And lastly, you need to click then on this button, Become a Tester. In case you face a problem that you cannot join the tester program with this link, then make sure that you wait up to 1 day, and this should then solve your issue in most of the cases. Alright, now we made the purchase, and after we have made the purchase, then we also want to unlock some features for the user. So in my case, I want to display here then the text that he is inside of the paid plan. However, you can then choose here what you want to display if the user is inside of a paid plan. Then you could, for example, unlock some specific features to this user. And to give our user some special access after he have made some purchases, then you simply go here down to this section listening for purchaser updates. And here you see that you can basically call this method, and then you get the information of this purchaser if he has bought your subscription or not. In my case, I use here the state management provider, and then I call here the init method. However, you can also call it inside of the init state method of your stateful widget. This is also working fine. And here we get then basically some purchaser info, and we want to update then our purchaser status based on this info. Therefore, let's simply create here this new method. And here inside you can then get the information of your user if he has made some purchases. And over this purchaser info, you can then get the active entitlements that are currently active for this user. And I want to access it here then as a list, because you could also have multiple entitlements. So each user can have multiple entitlements if you have multiple configured. As you remember, in our case, we have only supplied here one entitlement, all courses, and we want to check now if the user has access to this all courses after he has purchased a product or not. So in my case, it is more simple because I have only one entitlement. Therefore, I can simply check here if the entitlements are empty, then the user has here the entitlement free, and otherwise we give him the entitlement all courses. And this is basically another class that I have created, so it's an enum, and here we have then the different access levels of our application. Alright, so with this statement, I determine right now if he has access to all the courses, and we also store it then here inside of our state. And we want to access now this entitlement if it is free or all courses inside of our subscription page, which is here this page on the right side. And therefore I go here to the subscription page, and here inside of this build method, I want to get then access to this entitlement of this provider. So it's basically exactly this entitlement that we have here stored inside of this class. And lastly, we make then use of this entitlement. So in my case, I simply show then here this icon on the right side. So it shows then here you are on a paid plan if he has entitlement all courses. Otherwise, it shows here you are on a free plan. And this means that the user has not bought our product. Alright, and now we can try it out. So I click here on See Plans, then I make here a purchase. I buy this product, and then it should say here that we are on the paid plan. In my case, I only forgot to also call here after this update purchase the notify listeners, and with this it would then update here also the UI. However, all in all, it is now working, and you can then basically decide what you want to do based on this entitlement. So you can then display some specific features if the user has this entitlement. To make sure that you restore here also the purchases that the user has made in case he does here these actions of reinstalling his app or logging into multiple devices, then you need to make sure that you give this user a specific app ID. So you can do it once while you call this purchases setup method in the beginning of the application, or what you also can do is that you can call here this purchases login method, and then you specify here an ID for the user. And this is what you normally then store inside of your backend. So you can use simply the ID inside of your backend that you use for your user. And then if he logs into another device or reinstall his app, then he will have still access to the features that he has bought. And of course, you can also call here later then a method logout in case you want to log out the user from his in-app purchases. So far we have handled subscriptions, and next we want to handle also in-app purchases which are made on a one-time basis. And in this case, I want to simply buy a package, and then we want to give the user some coins that he can then spend inside of our application. First of all, we need to go to our Google Play console, and here we scroll then down to the section products, and this time we go inside of the section in-app products. And now you can click here on create product to create a product that the user can buy one time. Again, like before with the subscriptions, make sure that you choose here a product ID that is unique inside of your whole Google Play console account. Next, you need to scroll here down, and then you need to give a name and a description. So I call it here 10 coins that the user can buy. And be aware that the name and description are later displayed publicly. And lastly, you can then click here on set price. So in my case, I give it here a price of 9 euros. Again, like before, you see then here all the prices of the other countries and currencies, and then you can click on apply prices. Make sure to click on save and then also click on activate. And now if you go here back to the in-app products, then you should see that we have here this active 10 coins. And similarly to this, I have also created here now a second package with 100 coins, and I also have chosen then a different price for this package. After this, go back to RevenueCat, and here you go then to the product section, and now we need to add here all of our products that we have added to our Google Play console. Therefore, I click here on new, and like before with the subscriptions, simply copy here the product ID and paste it here inside, and as a store you select then PlayStore and click on add. And the same thing we also do here with our other product ID, simply copy it, paste it here inside, and also select PlayStore and add. This time we don't give here any entitlements because these are coins that the user can later use within our application to buy then something inside of the application itself. Instead, what we want to do is we want to click here on offerings, and now we want to create here an offer, and I call it basically 10 coins. I also give it some description, and then I click here on add. And now you can click here on this 0 packages. Let's add here a new package, and this time you don't choose here monthly or annual, instead you choose lifetime because it is a one-time purchase. Give it also some name and then click here on add. Next, you also need to link here your product. So click here on 0 products, attach your product, and then choose here PlayStore. And we want to attach then this 10 coins product. And also click here on attach. And secondly, we also want to do the same thing for our 100 coins. Therefore, I go to the offering section and here I create then a new offer. I call it this time 100 coins. I also give it some description and then I click on add. Again, like before, you click here on 0 packages, click on new, choose again here lifetime as your option, give it some description and click on add. And lastly, we need to link then our product of our 100 coins. So click here on attach, then go to the Play Store. And this time we select here then our 100 coins and click on attach. Alright, so now we have created here 2 more offerings that we also want to display then within our application. Therefore, let's go inside of our purchase API class, and here on top I want to create a new class where I define then the coins, and basically I define then here the IDs of our coins that we have defined in RevenueCat. So make sure that the IDs that I have here defined are the same. So in my case 10 coins and 100 coins, and I have simply put them here then inside. And secondly, we want to create another method inside of this purchase API class. So before we have created this fetch offers, and this is always giving here us the current offer. And this means it always returns here the current offer that we have defined in RevenueCat. And in this case, the current offer are the subscriptions. However, what we want to access are here the 10 coins and 100 coins that are not our current offers. And to do this, we want to create here a new method, and here we can then basically fetch our offers by their IDs that we have defined in RevenueCat. And we want to call here then this method fetch offers, and we will later manipulate it so that we return here all the offers at once. And in the end, this should then return us all the offers that we have configured here in RevenueCat. So in this case, it should return us 3 offers. And we want to simply check then if the offer is inside of this IDs list. And therefore, I basically check if the offer identifier is contained inside of this IDs list that we later here supply. And lastly, I want to change here the implementation of this fetch offers method a bit. So instead of fetching always the current offer, we want to change here the implementation. So we can set here a flag if we want to fetch all the offers or not. And in case this flag is set, then we are going here inside and we basically return then all the offers that we have stored in RevenueCat. And otherwise, if it is not at all, then we want to return our current offer. And this is exactly the code that we have written before. Now, if you click here on see plans within the subscription, then you see that we define here all the current offers, because now he is fetching really all the offers inside of our subscription page. However, we don't want to show here the coins on our subscription page. Instead, we want to show only the current offer, which are here our subscriptions. And therefore, I go simply to the subscription page and then I go here down to this method fetch offers. And here I want to change it then that we only fetch the current offer. And now if I click here again on see plans, then we only get here the current offer that we have defined within RevenueCat. Alright, this is about the subscription, and now we go to the coins because we want to display right now with this method fetch offers by IDs the coins, and we want to purchase then these coins as a one-time payment. Therefore, on the second page of our coins, if I click on this get more coins, then we call here this fetch offers method, which I have created inside of another page. And here I have basically copied the whole implementation of what we have done before with the subscriptions. And this time we don't want to fetch here our current offer. Instead, we want to fetch our offers by the IDs of our coins. And therefore I put here simply the IDs of our coins inside that we have defined before. Let's also try it out. So I click here on this get more coins, and now you see that only the coins packages are here displayed. And now we also want to purchase our coins if we click here on this package, and we want to change here a bit the implementation. So we purchase our package and then we want to check if it was successful. And in case it was successful, then we want to call here another method add coins. And this is what I create here in my case inside of this provider. So I create here a new method add coins package. And then I check here basically for the package offering identifier. And here you can then basically check what package he has bought. For example, this 10 coins package or this 100 coins package. And then you add here the 10 coins or 100 coins to your state. So in my case, I have simply created here then the coins in the state. Let's also try it out. So I select here the 100 coins package. And now I make this one-time payment to buy the coins. And you see then here immediately that we have our 100 coins. And you could also buy here more coins if you like. So I buy here more coins. And now we have here 200 coins in our application. And if you like, you can also create this button to spend your coins again. And therefore, if I click here on this button, I call here this method spend coins. And here I basically go then inside of my provider. Then we simply decrement here our coins. So I basically decrement the coins by 10. So be aware, right now we are changing the coins only inside of the application. And normally what you want to have is that you store then the coins on your backend. And therefore the best thing is if you implement the webhooks for your backend so that you can then get here the purchases of your user. And if you detect then a purchase of the user, then you will simply add the coins inside of your backend. And then you will give him here access also within the application to these coins. However, the coins are mainly stored then inside of your backend. And if you click then later on this button to spend his coins, then you would make a request to your backend and there you would decrease then the coins and give him then some privileges what he can do with the coins. Therefore, notice right now, if you hot restart your application, then you see that we have no coins, and this is because you need to store the coins on your backend. And by the way, if you want to get here the whole source code of this application, then you can get it with the first link in the description, and with the second link you can get access to my Flutter courses where I teach you how you can become a better and more efficient developer. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel.